Habari gani familia angu? Habari gani? Jumbo Mombo. Karibu kanisa Eli-Ben-Eli. I hope this Friday evening finds each and every one of you well. I have had a very, very, very difficult afternoon. It has been one complication after the other, but my higher power has never put a greater burden on me than I am capable of carrying, so I'm gonna be fine. I hope all of you once again are having a good Erev Shabbat. Erev Shabbat means an evil Sabbath. I hope all of you are having a good time. I'm curious about something. Please let me know in the comments if you choose to. You don't, obviously I cannot make you do anything. I can only ask. Okay? Mimini Babu Eli. Babu Eli is asking you to do something. Please in the comment below, let me know whether you worship on Sabbath or you worship on Sunday. I'm just curious. Do you know something fascinating that I found out? And I'm going to tell you this because today I'm going to talk around a couple of things. How many of you are aware of a church called the Mennonite Church? If you see videos about the Mennonites here in Texas or in the United States, they show you a congregation made up purely of Mazungus. They never show you a black face. But the reality of the matter is that most Mennonites in the world are found in Africa and in Asia, in Latin America. Most of them are brown-faced people. And it's only a small number that are white. Now, having said that, the Mennonite faith originated among the Germans, among the Mazungus of Germany. But, the point is that they went through a period in which they had to transform, because there was a period in which they weren't all that welcoming of black people, but there have been several heads of the Mennonite church that were actually black people. Totally fascinating. The thing is this. There is a play, a movie, and some of you will know it. There was a movie that was made by the same gentleman who made the play Hamilton, who happens to be a Puerto Rican American. And I don't know his name. I don't think that it's important for purposes of this story. But he made a movie about Spanish Harlem. And in Spanish Harlem, all that he showed were white and brown-skinned people. He didn't show any black people. Now, anybody who knows Spanish Harlem knows that anybody who knows Spanish Harlem in the Latino community, you know that there are a lot of black Latinos. But for some mysterious reason, he apologized and he said that it wasn't intentional. How can it not be intentional that you leave out black characters? There's a lot of foolishness going on in the United States at the moment. Okay, people don't understand a man like me. Okay, yes, I'm Latino, but I take a lot of pride in being an African. I call myself a New World African. Okay, I take a lot of pride in that. I take a lot of pride in my blackness. I actively seek out people that are black to associate with, women that are black. I love dating them. But I'm going to tell you something very, very amusing. There are a lot of black Latinos who do not consider themselves black people. And before you laugh too hard at that, please keep something in mind. Ethiopians, some Eritreans, some Somalians, they don't consider themselves black people. Okay, they don't consider themselves black people. I don't know if you're aware of a community in Texas called Vidor, Texas, on I-10. I-10 being a national highway. Vidor, Texas is the headquarters of a hate group, which in America is called the Ku Klux Klan. And there are other hate groups in that town. I'm going to offer you a little bit of information in case you ever come to the Southwest or to the South. There are white communities, Mazungu communities, called sundown community. Did you hear what I said? Sundown community. In a sundown community, you better not be black after sundown. you better not be a black man. And if you're confused about who you are and you go, well, I'm a Latino, I'm not really black. Yeah, go to Vidor, Texas. They'll have a discussion with you about that. If you're there after dark, you'll figure out how quickly, how much those people regard you as being anything other than black. There's a new madness in the United States that's going on. It's been going on for the last couple of decades. A lot of the young people, if they have a Latino parent or if they have a white parent and a black parent, historically, the community that accepted them, because most of the time they look black, is the black community. Nowadays, these same young people are running around saying, they're not really black. They're not black. They're biracial. Pure and total insanity, okay? Pure and total insanity. But, that's the way that this country is. That's why when I hear I am Mara and some of those people saying that they prefer to be with a Mazungu and they don't really want to be with a black woman, blah, 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 blah. I listen to them and I say, complete and total idiots. By the way, let me take a minute. If you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel, please like and subscribe. Whenever you experience a negative controversy, it affects the growth of your channel. Okay, it affects the size of your channel. There are restaurants here in the United States that serve very cheap food. Okay, and those restaurants can be huge. They sell what are called franchise, which is the right to run a restaurant of that kind for a fee. And those franchises can be worth millions of dollars. When what you are putting forth is cheap and of no value, a lot of us like things that are cheap and of no value. But if you go to the really, really, really expensive restaurants, sometimes they're very small. Sometimes there's only one. Channels can be like that. Okay, there are big, big, big channels that you look at and nobody seems to watch them. And then there are small channels that a lot of people watch. One is a gourmet restaurant. The other one is a food chain, a popular little restaurant. And, it's like, all that I'm saying is this. If you are one of my subscribers, you are mature, you are intelligent, you're probably very well educated. And that isn't to say that the people who watch those other channels aren't. But anyway, as I said, please like and subscribe to my channel, okay? And please help this channel to continue growing, okay? Inshallah, it will grow, and inshallah, it is the desire of heaven that my channel grow. There are people that think that YouTube and social media is only for young, handsome men and for young, beautiful women. Not so. Okay, I happen to have a bunch of beliefs that makes it kind of difficult for some people to understand me, to understand where I'm coming from, or to relate to me. But if you have the intellectual capacity to relate to me, if you have the religious capacity to relate to me, please like and subscribe, and be a part of this channel. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. This is why it saddens me when I see people like I am Marwa and a lot of these other black men who have no respect for black women. A black woman isn't good enough for them. A brown woman isn't good enough for them. The only people that they can be with are white women. Now, let me tell you something. If you could go ahead and suspend a human being's sight, chances are that if they met people from a similar background, a similar neighborhood, a similar part of a nation, you wouldn't be able to tell white from black. I think all of that is dangerous and stupid rubbish. I don't believe in it. I believe that you should love people because of their heart. But at the same time, somebody like me, I have a genetic inculcation that gives me a predilection and a preference for dark-skinned black women. That doesn't mean that I haven't loved and liked white women, but in the end, I would not want to bring a confused child to this world who will be running around saying they're biracial or denying their blackness. I want to be with somebody black. And I always talk about this. You know what bothers me? I'm gonna make a confession to all of you. Burundian traveler. What does that mean anyway? He's a traveler. What does a traveler do? He travels. Travels for what purpose? Travels for the sake of traveling. That is so stupid, okay? If you look at the history of mankind, all of the forward advances in society have been made when people settle down. People living nomadically, that's kind of silly. But, let me not judge. Burundian traveler. Diana Kemi is one of the most beautiful young women on YouTube. She has this beautiful looking skin. She has a beautiful face, beautiful body. She likes to sing a song that I don't even know whether I like the song, I find it annoying, or I find it very moving. Today is my favorite day. I love that song. I love and dislike it at the same time. Diana Kemi in any society would be a prize for a man to have. But Burundian traveler, he's holding out. He's never had the courage to come out like Margaret and say that he only wants a Mazungu woman. But it's almost like if he acts as if a woman who looks like Baby Carol or Diana Kemi, my two beauties, I love those girls so much, they're not good enough for him. He'll come around and hug them and everything, but, either he's too much of a child or not enough of a man to decide to make a commitment to love the woman and offer her his hand in marriage. And the poor thing loves that man so much. Diana Kemi loves him so much. She's talking to him about build a bigger house, and he seems oblivious to the fact that what she's saying is if me and you stay together, we're gonna have children. We're gonna have a big family. Not to mention their children would have Baby Carol as an auntie, and she's a very close friend of Diana Kemi. But where did they get all of this nonsense from? They got it from Ian Marwa. This nonsense about it's not prejudice, it's just a preference. It's so organic. I mean, what's more organic than a beautiful dark-skinned black woman? But the person who gives me a lot of hope and all of this nonsense happens to be DeeMuango. DeeMuango went to the well, tasted the water, and spat it out. And she's decided that she likes what she likes. And she's actively trying to find herself a black man. I believe it was I.M. Carroll who pointed out that all of these relationships with Mazungus have crashed and burned. J.D. crashed and burned. Michelle Ponte crashed and burned. The European gigolo crashed and burned. It's like if you wear a size 9 shoe, you can see a beautiful pair of shoes that are size 8. You can try to put it on as much as you want to. Your foot is a size 9. It's not going to fit. Most of us are created to be with a certain kind of person. Okay, and I'm going to tell you something. Babu Eli has lived a very interesting life. I have lived in many different places. I have been with many different kinds of women. And I can say this, and I'm not saying it disrespectfully, there is a passion, there is a love, there is a sense of warmth that you get when you have a black woman who loves you if you're a black man. And that's not to disparage or put down Mazungu women. Mazungu women are very, very kind. They're very passionate. If you come right down to it, there's no difference in between a Mazungu woman and a black woman, but there's something in here that tells me when I'm with a black woman, it makes me feel like if my heart is whole and I have everything that I need. And I don't necessarily feel that way about any other kind of women. I have loved other kind of women. But anyway, back to Burundian Traveler. Burundian Traveler is playing little mind games. Oh, Diana came. If he's not careful, he's going to wake up one day and some other man is going to come along and take Diana Kemi. I'm going to tell you something. Maybe this is a little arrogant. But if Babu Eli was 20 or 30 years younger, I would buy an airplane ticket. I would go to Magori Airport. I would drive there, and I would show up with red roses, a big bag of groceries, and a bunch of nice things for Diana Kemi. And I would be so nice to her. And I don't know that it would lead to anything, but, because I'm going to let you in on a secret. Neolithic people, which includes some of the Bantus found in Kenya, can be very tall. But there are a lot of people like Fellow the Boy. They're very, very small, and, Anyway, but enough about that. I think that in time, people will see that the choice that Mara has taught his followers, his cult, is not a wise choice for black people. But I wanted to say something. I wanted to take an opportunity to say something. I am convinced that I have figured out how Fellow the Boy ended up in the mess that he is in. Folks, it was a setup. Okay, let me put it to you like this. I'm going to state a set of hypothetical inferences. You are free to accept them or to reject them. If you accept them, fine. If you don't, fine. Comment below. Let me know what you think. I think that there are people in that village of Nyabohanse who are very concerned about their prestige and how they're viewed. Okay? Fellow the Boy came along and stole their thunder. Okay? He got the attention for being the big, generous person who's into charity work and everything. And I also think that Fellow the Boy has the problems that a poor man has. Okay? If you are in the desert and you're dying of thirst, and somebody gives you a big amount of water and tells you, take these to the people who are thirsty, you might be tempted to take a drink or two out of that water, but that doesn't make you a bad person. I think that somebody came to the realization that A, they wanted to live in Nyabohanse. B, they would need a house. C, they have a relative and a friend whose image has been tarnished by the activities of Fellow the Boy. D, that Fellow the Boy could build good houses. E, that Fellow the Boy needed to be brought down a couple of notches. So what did they do? They approached Fellow the Boy using a false identity, Sir Edwards. Sir Edward. We don't have anybody called Sir in the United States. We have girls, poor Mazungu girls, poor girls from the ghetto who read romance novels, and they might call one of their sons that. It's very unusual to find anybody who claims that kind of name in the United States. For that matter, even in Canada, because they try to turn around and claim, oh, he's a Canadian, whatever. Okay. This Sir, whatever his name is a straw man. There is no such person. Somebody who has the money, somebody who has the cunning, somebody who has a desire to bring fellow down, approached him and told him, I heard the voice of God, and the voice of God spake unto me, and said, Sir, take your wealth, take your provender, take your gold, and seek forth the young man by the name of Philo the boy. Offer him gold, offer him money, tell him, buy land unto me, O Philo the boy. The heavens have ordered me to do this. And Philo the boy, being an idiot, didn't ask too many questions, took the money, looked to the left, looked to the right, may have made some mistakes with that money, but on the whole, he did what he was supposed to. But that's when they sprang the trap. I don't know what you call it in your country, but there's something that we call cookies in this country. Let's put it like this. They're kind of like a Mendasi. There's something that you eat for pleasure. In this country, we call the vessel in which you keep cookies a cookie jar. Children are always trying to take a cookie for themselves. Philo may have been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Why do I say that? Because he apologized for his mistakes and asked to be forgiven. Obviously, he might have done something wrong. But on the whole, he did what he was supposed to do. Now they end up with a properly built house, an excellent piece of land, very well constructed and sturdy house, okay? Using American money converted into Kenyan shillings, even though they're talking about it in terms of Kenyan shillings and calling it millions, in reality, the amount of money for a wealthy American in American dollars is about $53,000. They took that money, they made a good investment. That house right now, if it was to be sold, would cost a lot more than it cost to build. But they also have Philo the boy in a trap. Okay, don't believe everything that you're told. I don't think that Philo the boy is any kind of a crook or a scammer. He may have made some mistakes. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Folks, if you haven't done it this far, please go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. Help me to build up my number of subscribers. And some people want to call me a flip-flopper. Call me whatever you want. For a while that bothered me, but now my attitude is, I love children. I teach children. I counsel children. I don't take their insults too hard. My dears, may God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. And Asante Asana for taking the time to watch this video. And for the rest of this month, I'm going to keep wishing you a new year. I hope you wish me one too. I had a very difficult afternoon in a lot of ways, but the way that I choose to look at it is God gave me the ability and the mind to go ahead and cope with all of it. So praise be to Allah. Alhamdulillah, I'll continue facing the problems that come my way. Alhamdulillah, I'll continue to master those problems. Keep Babu Eli in prayer. Pray for each other. And let's pray for Philo the boy. He's done an awful lot of good things. And I don't want to see him destroyed by people who have nothing better to do with their time than to hurt somebody who basically is a good-hearted man. May God bless each and every one of you. Go ahead.